Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of Andrewsfootball.com, and this week I'm going to give a little video on how I did. I'm going to talk about some of the games I watched, and then later on I'm going to go ahead and make my predictions for every single game for the week. But real fast, I went ahead and I updated my standings. You can go to www.andrewsfootball.com and you see my updated standings. Unlike a lot of other sites that want to do power rankings and their opinions, you will not see that on Andrewsfootball.com. It's just the facts. I was 1-2 this weekend. Nobody saw Jacksonville blowing the Ravens out. I'm actually just finished watching the first quarter here of Baltimore and Jacksonville, and I saw some things that are kind of interesting, things I'm going to take note of. Also, I caught that Baltimore had some problems with the London travel, not something I expected a quality franchise like Baltimore to do, but the first time traveling over to London, they had some issues. Something that I'll have to watch out for in the future, that teams that go overseas for the first time, maybe some of them will have problems. Second, I haven't watched any of the Tampa Bay versus Minnesota game. I knew Tampa Bay had some injuries on defense, but I thought that was offset by the backup quarterback. However, Case Keenum just destroyed them. I think that there's probably a minimum of 20, maybe even 25 quarterbacks better than Case Keenum. So I'm going to have to watch that and kind of keep track of Tampa Bay's defense, because if they are giving up 35 points to a backup quarterback, that's not a good team. And of course, the game I got right was the Chiefs game. I was hesitant to pick the Chiefs because I didn't want to be a homer, but they're just a better team than the Chargers. If you watch that game, there was just as many Chiefs fans as there were Chargers fans. It's really sad because there's some real talent on that Chargers team. There was an article in Yahoo saying that the mayor of LA didn't even want them. That's another article for a different time. I'm going to go over some of the games I did watch. First game I watched was the Rams versus the 49ers. And it's really interesting because both teams are transitioning defenses, and they're transitioning to what they were last year. Okay, the San Francisco 49ers are going from a 3-4 to a Tampa 2. And the Rams are going from a 4-3 man-to-man defense to a 3-4. The problem with the 49ers is that when you transition from a 3-4 to a Tampa 2 defense, the whole basis of the Tampa 2 defense is to have your front four put pressure on the quarterback, then basically you drop 7 into various parts of zone coverage that you can kind of mix and match on. This is something I'd love to talk about in detail because I'm really fascinated by the whole thing. Part of the reason why you watch Andrewsfootball.com is to catch the nuances of different defenses. But a dumbed down version of this is that when a 3-4 is designed to have 3 linemen clog up 5 offensive linemen. They're not designed to the pressure specifically as much as they are designed to occupy space. The Tampa 2 defense is just the opposite, or the front four is more of a split gaps, put pressure, get in the backfield. That's why I really wasn't expecting San Francisco to do much this year because of that transition. It's a difficult transition. It's going to be interesting because they have some extra draft picks. Are they going to go another direction after this year is over with? Because defense is not going to be good. It's like putting square pegs in round holes. Are they going to go in a different direction? I don't think they will, but they may choose a different defensive coordinator. It'll be interesting to watch. They'll be better as the year goes on, but they should have a bad defense. And it's really interesting with the Rams because their best player, Aaron Donald, doesn't belong in a 3-4. To be perfectly honest, he'd be a perfect fit for the new San Francisco defense. Even though he's probably their best defensive player, I don't expect him to be back. He held out, deserves a lot of money, very good player. I don't think he really fits. But Wade Phillips uses. I saw him a lot on the inside in nickel formation, so Are you just going to play nickel the whole time, like he did in Denver? You really don't have the corners, but it'll be interesting. But the one thing I noticed is the Rams MVP is Andrew Whitworth, and I've gone over this before. Left tackle is extremely important in the NFL. With a solid left tackle, it improves both your running and your passing game. And people that think that it's all Jared Goff, no, it's Andrew Whitworth. A case in point, look at Cincinnati. Look what they're doing on offense right now since they got rid of him. They're terrible on offense. Why? Because they gave up a Pro Bowl stud left tackle. Now he's with the Rams. All of a sudden, the Rams putting up 41 points. I mean, what they put up week 1, 46? Andrew Whitworth is the MVP of that team. The other game I watched was Denver versus Buffalo. Very impressed with Buffalo's defense. I do not like what they're doing on offense. That's something I would love to go into detail with, talking about the Bills' offense. It's kind of funny because all the coaches they've had, except for Doug Marrone, who's now the head coach in Jacksonville, have been defensive guys, and nothing wrong with the defense. They need some help on offense. I don't like the play calling. I don't like what they're doing, but they're 2-1 right now, and the defense is playing good. So give them some credit. I originally thought they would win more than 6.5 games, and I went ahead and went under. I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo finishes 6-10, but I like their defense, and they're 2-1 right now. So that's a good thing. Denver Broncos. I've been very, very adamant that I think the Denver Broncos are second best team in the AFC West, just behind Kansas City. I think they're better than Oakland. Matter of fact, I'll go into detail a little more later, but one of my picks this week, take Denver 2.5 against the Raiders in Mile High. I've been saying this all along. Denver's better than the Raiders. People don't agree with me. The reason why I'm saying don't put the money down yet, I have a feeling Raiders moving to Vegas, that line's going to go from 2.5 maybe to 2. I would put money down if I thought it was going to jump up to 3. I don't think it will. I think it's going to drop down to 2. But 2.5, you know what? Scratch that. 2.5. Put your money down now. Take Denver. Take my word for it. Denver's the better team. They're going to win. The Denver-Buffalo game, I thought, came down to a fake punt. Now, the problem is that, not the fake punt itself. I like the call. I like the aggression. It also gives teams like the Raiders coming up, hey, this is the guy who's going to call fake punts. But the problem is that when they were getting in punt formation, something looked off. The formation didn't look right, and then I noticed, I'm going to call him linebacker, but he's not really a linebacker. He was, a few yards behind. He started raising his hand like this. Then Buffalo's inside. Buffalo shifted inside, and then Denver ran a play straight up the middle. Of course, it was going to be no good. In a situation like that, you need to call an audible and just have him punt the ball. I don't know if that's special teams coach's fault, or if head coach said, no matter what, run the fake punt. Kansas City ran a fake punt. They were not successful. I like the call. Basically, what it was is that one of the Chargers players just made a good play. If he doesn't make that tackle, he goes for around 20, 25 yards. It didn't work, but I like it when teams early in the year do things like this because it shows that you're aggressive, that you're not afraid, you believe in your players, and it gives teams something to worry about. So kudos both Kansas City and Denver for running fake punts, even though they're unsuccessful. I think in the long run it'll pan out. Of course, I watched the Chiefs game, and the number one thing I can say about the Chiefs game is that I live here in Kansas City area. Chiefs fans, pump your brakes. Jesus. I watched the Rams go 3-1 last year. They finished 4-12. So I watched Kansas City Chiefs start off 9-0. And under Andy Reid's first year, they went 11-5 and had one of the worst losses ever after being up. I think it was 28-10. Oh God, it makes me sick. The '95 playoff loss was worse, but this one was bad. So Chiefs fans, pump your brakes a little bit. Eric Berry's out. Santos is out. And Chargers fans, what'd you expect? They're playing at a soccer stadium. You got Phillip Rivers, and you want to try to run the ball more. The problem is that this is just a snake-bitten team. I understand the logic. Some people even will tell you, no, the Chargers need to run the ball more. I don't agree with that at all. I think just the opposite. Just line up, get a bunch of receivers, throw the ball around, stick to your strength, and because that defense, it's not that good. You might as well just air it out. I know they threw 3 or 4 interceptions last week, but that's just my humble opinion. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in football. Melvin Gordon's a good running back, don't get me wrong, but screen passes. Hunter Henry, I think, had 1 catch, pretty much non-factor. Why? Anyway, Redskins versus Raiders, the other game I watched. I've watched a lot of football. I've watched a lot of the Raiders. It was just one of those games where they did not come ready to play. My humble opinion. The Redskins' defensive line is not that good because the Raiders' offensive line is one of the best ones, and the Redskins' defensive line just beat the snot out of them. I've been saying this all along. The Raiders are not this great team. A lot of people think that, we're better than 12-4 last year. No, you are not. You are not a 12-win team. This Raiders team is not a 12-win team, but they're better than what they did. Sunday night. So I only watched a little bit of the Dallas-Arizona game. That's why I'm not going to touch base on that. But interesting game Monday night. This is my second prediction. Over-under is 49.5. Take the under. I'll go into more detail later on down the week. Now keep in mind I went 1-2. This puts me at 5-3. It's a 62.5% winning percentage. I will do better, but 62.5 is not bad. So again, if you are not subscribed to Andrew's Football YouTube, get subscribed. What have you got to lose? You get to look at all of this. I mean, what else do you want? And check me out on andrewsfootball.com.